there's like swings out there, and there's an indoor area, and there's like these facilities that they like to play with. And like we were on the swings one day, and one of the kids had a seizure, and none of us knew what to do because we were all there by ourselves. And like there's one area where they have like stones instead of the sidewalk, and a lot of the kids like being pushed on back to feel like the vibrations coming from it. And one of the kids I work with, her name is Bennett. She's 9 years old and she likes to talk, but she can't. And I like her because she's not afraid to speak her mind. If she's bored, she'll let you know. And she likes to sing and she loves to have people talk to her. She's one of my favorite.
While we were on our service trip, we stayed at a KOA campground there in Streetsboro, which is actually a few miles east of Hudson on the territory. It's about a 50-mile drive from here. We had 2 campers. I pulled up Mark and Kathy Gerber's camper, and then Monday evening, Sara brought their campers up, or campers. So we had 2 campers. We had 2 tents that Chris and I used. And there were several activities that we did while we were there. They had a small lake with a pier going out into it and a slide that the kids enjoyed jumping off of and swimming. We stayed at the far end of the campground, sort of away from most other campers. We had a decent-sized field area where we played several games of football, and we did that in the rain. Because of the rain, we had to spend some time under the canopies of the campers, where we played lots of card games and board games, and really enjoyed that. Every evening, we would divide into 2 groups. One group would plan devotions for the evening. The other group would make supper and clean up afterwards. And believe it or not, it did stop raining every evening enough to build a campfire. So we would build a fire and sit around and have our devotion time and also talk about our experiences that day at Hattie Larlham. Even though it did rain and there were lots of mosquitoes and so forth, it was wet most of the time, damp, these kids had a great attitude, and I thought they learned to know each other better, and we had a great 3 nights camping.
One of the evenings, we went to 2 different group rooms called Oak and Wood. Group rooms consist of older individuals with disabilities who live there, and their caretakers who help the residents do daily life. While we were there, some of us helped bake cookies, while the rest of us played games. Aaron, Mast, and I played Monopoly against 2 residents named John and Bill, who were helped by Chris Mast. We would tell either John and Bill when it was their turn, and encourage them to roll the dice for them if they're too grumpy to do it themselves, telling them who owed the money, or who they owed money, and explaining why. After we got tired of Monopoly, we ate cookies the others made, gave the residents presents, said our goodbyes, and headed back to our campsite. One of my favorite individuals I met would be Markel. I was told that Markel enjoyed loud music. That was a huge understatement. When we were out on the nature trail that Scotland told you about, I decided I would play the Bills very lovely for Markel. He had the biggest smile that I've ever seen. Pretty soon, Aaron came over with his buddy and joined in. Markel and Aaron's buddy loved the duet. Before long, Markel was laughing hysterically. We kept banging away to different rhythms for a long time, much to the rest of the junior MYM's dismay. By the time we were done, I was almost deaf, but Markel still had his huge smile and was still laughing.
Every day around lunchtime, we took all the kids back to their living areas, and when we were finished, it was our turn to eat, and they gave us vouchers to go down to the cafeteria and get something to eat. We didn't always like what they had for us to eat, so we took along extra things for us to eat, or things on top of whatever they gave us. And when we'd go out, once we got our food, we'd go out to the patio area and sit outside to enjoy our lunches. And we always had to be careful of going out, because once we went out on the patio, the door would close behind us, and we couldn't get back in unless an employee let us back in with their key card. So if we forgot our water or, our eating utensils, we had to wait for someone to come and let us back in the door. And as we were eating our food and we really got to know each other, and we played some fun games during our lunch breaks to make the time go fast. We played a game all week, or some variety of the game. It's called I Have Never, and each person would say, like, I've never climbed a pine tree, I've never been to Niagara Falls during the day, I've never attended a public school. And if you have done whatever the person stated, then you had to put up a finger. So then once you reached 10 fingers, you were out of the game. I guess the goal of the game was to find out who had never done the most things. Not quite sure how that works, but... and after lunch, we'd go in and spend some time in the adult vocational program, which is Achieve. Achieve is the program for Hattie's residents that are over 21, that have graduated from their other school. Achieve helps these residents develop skills that they can use in volunteering in their community, in painting art and selling their artwork to gain money for themselves. It's also a way for them to build confidence in themselves and taking care of themselves in small ways that they can. I guess it's hard for me to pick a favorite of all the kids that we spent time with. There were so many, and the first day that we were there, I got to spend a little time with a boy named John. And we were outside, we went outside into this nice little screened-in building that they had. And we were blowing bubbles and reading books, and, I thought we were having a great time. And John kind of started to choke, and I kind of got a little nervous because it was still my first day. I wasn't quite ready for that. I was still nervous, and he started to choke, and I kind of stood up, and I kind of looked scared, and, it passed, and he was okay. Well, he thought it was funny that he scared me. So, he continued for the rest of the time that I spent with him to kind of every once in a while, just to see if he'd get that reaction out of me. So, yeah.
Okay, we spent the last afternoon watching the vans they use for transportation for the residents and the doctors, and for them to go on field trips. We watched the outside, clean the floors, walls, and windows of the inside. 6 big vans, each truck, a car, and 1 minibus. It rained while we were working, but we still had fun doing it.